Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fin Factor Live Edition. This is the pre-shoot for... Oh, I'm on mute. Hey everyone, welcome to the Fin Factor Live Edition. This is the pre-shoot for episode number 75. We're getting all the gremlins out right off the hop here. We've got the mute button is now working. I tested it for you guys. We're solid. Aaron, you've got the laptop out. No bugs going on over there?
Nope, but penalties on Paul and Aaron, 2 minutes for delaying the game.
Not bad, not bad. I like that. Yeah, I was just saying we got to figure out where Super Kicker Joe is. He's MIA.
I don't know.
He's asleep. You said.
He's sleeping.
He's
it's night time.
He's slacking.
Yeah,
it's too bad. Anyway, Aaron's here with the laptop out. Like I said, got your comments and questions ready to go. So this week actually a pretty decent week for the Sharks. They started off not so great after the Washington loss, going right into St. Louis, and that just didn't pan out, unfortunately.
Well, captain's gonna be out for 6 weeks now.
That hurts.
Broken ankle. Literally hurts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel good. So that's gonna be. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be it. This stick a fork in them. They're gonna be done. But they rallied around. Maybe that's what they needed. They needed something to fight for, kind of. You know what I mean? To rally around, kind of like when Pavelski went out in Game 7. Maybe they need a little kickstart because then they played pretty well in the last 2 games. I thought.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Aaron Dell stepping up big time in these last couple of games. Played really, really well. I don't know how sustainable that is, but I'm happy to ride it for the few games that he's on that high right now. So, one way or another. Again, a really good game by Aaron Dell there, and by the Sharks kind of in general. Like I think it was the Columbus game. I think that he more or less stole the Columbus game.
Yeah.
I didn't think that the defense was particularly awesome.
I feel like he stole the last game too.
Well, okay.
In the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
He came up huge. He had at least two or three big saves that should have been a goal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He the last game there against Dallas, that was a phenomenal showing by Aaron Dell. Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, in those last couple games, I think the Sharks defense maybe didn't look so great. And he just kind of stepped in there and just did his job big time, really, really big. So good to see. Really happy to see that. And I think, a lot of people kind of going back and forth on, who's the starter. I'm sure we're getting some comments or something like that right now. Who's considered the starter. A lot of people saying Dell is the number one now. Honestly, I'm not going to give either one of them the title just yet. And I think that's what Bob Boughner is trying to do. He's trying to make it a competition. Now, you can make the argument that Dell is playing better than Jones, and I would agree with you. But that doesn't make him the number one.
Right, I think Jones is playing okay, but the last game was a stinker against Washington. But he didn't get much help, and then right now you just got to play the goalie that's going to get you points no matter what they do. So Dell right now is clawing his way to the top and getting those points, and that's what the Sharks need. That's more important than the goalie numbers. The coaches don't care about the goalie numbers. Yeah. They want to know who's going to get the points at this point. Who cares?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, like you said, they're not really looking at the goals against average and the save percentages. They want to see what, they're checking out what's going on in the game itself, and if that goaltender is giving them the best opportunity to win. Another reason they're probably not looking at those numbers is because, again, if the defense is pretty poor, then those numbers are probably going to be not so great. Now, in those last couple games, Aaron Dell shined above the kind of lackluster play in the defensive zone. At least I felt it was. So I mean that's a really good showing for him to the coaching staff, regardless of what the numbers say, and his numbers are really good, but regardless of that, he was able to overcome when the defense kind of broke down. So again, just awesome stuff out of Aaron Dell.
I think we kind of talked about this last week's episode about how Aaron Dell felt like Pete DeBoer didn't really give him a fair chance, kind of in a way where he likes to have a starting goalie and a backup and didn't really like to have a competition there. So now he's got his chance with Boughner taking the helm and the Sharks just desperately needing points any way they can get it. So good on Dell for taking the most of his opportunity. I also think he performs the right word. He is taking to Nabokov's goaltending coaching better, I think, than Moose was there before. Right?
Okay.
So I think nothing against Hedberg. I'm sure he's a great goalie coach, but I think Dell came up through the organization with Nabokov as his goalie coach. So I think he responds, that's a better word.
There you go.
Responds better to the coaching. And not that Jones isn't. I think Jones is playing better as well. And again, he got hung out to dry a couple times in the Washington game. So, and I'm not saying none of it's his fault because he did not play well. But again, I just think Dell is taking the most of his opportunity, and it's good on him. Now, again, it's still kind of a small sample size.
Exactly.
So that's why we're not saying Dell's the for sure
Dell,
starter.
He's on a good hot streak right now.
Right.
And sometimes your backup goes on a really good hot streak, which is great.
I mean, look at November. Martin Jones played 6 games in a row with 6 wins or 5 wins. I can't remember.
Yeah.
They had that streak, and he didn't let in any goals in the shootout. Just stonewalled everybody. So we've seen it happen both ways, So who knows? Dell's turn right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he falters in a week. Hopefully not, but maybe he does. You never know.
Well, if he does falter in a week, hopefully once again, Jones can step back into that role and show him that, hey, I'm back and I'm ready to go again. Again, one of the things Bugner had said about being able to have Dell step in and play really well while you're starting goalie, right? That's what Jones still kind of is. While he's not really up to snuff at the moment, is that he gets that extra time with Nabokov, and he feels like we have an advantage. That's one of the things he said. We have an advantage here. This gives us an advantage because if our backup is playing really well, right, or if the competition there, if Dell is playing really well, that gives Jones that extra oomph, that extra time to kind of work out those kinks with Nabokov. Now, I had mentioned a few times on Twitter watching Nabokov at practice. This guy is hilarious to watch, okay? He was, not even with the goalies, he was standing on the blue line, and the drill was his own entry drill. And one of the forwards has to stand with their butt to Nabokov, and the pass comes to him. He grabs it, and then just his little backhander or to the side or whatever to get that puck just to the player who's streaking into the zone. Well, while that player is doing that, Nabokov's standing behind him, just straight up like cross-checking him in the back and just laughing. Like a child, just laughing, and he's just hitting him. And he's got something with Marcus Sorensen specifically because he keeps like hacking at his stick, like specifically Marcus. And yeah, so I don't know what it is, but Nabokov, he's just having a great time out there. He's laughing it up. He's having a lot of fun. So it's really, really awesome to see him out there just having a great time. So anyway.
Let's go to the Jones getting traded questions.
Oh, already, yes.
Noah
Okay.
Claxton, do you guys think Jones gets traded this offseason?
Yeah.
If someone will take him,
Yeah.
maybe. That contract's going to be difficult to move. He does have a limited no trade clause in the sense that I think he submits a 3-team list. I think, if I remember correctly. I don't want to look it up right now. And there's a couple other questions. I'm just going to keep going.
Well, okay, so let's be fair on that one, right? Does Jones get traded this offseason? Here's a question for you. If Jones turns it around tomorrow and he just goes on a streak because he had enough time with Nabokov and all of a sudden he is lights out, is that question even relevant, right? I mean, we've got 30-something more games to go here to see how this plays out. Would you trade him if he went lights out the rest of the season? I mean, I wouldn't, right? Yes, he had a bad start, maybe, and the defense didn't help him out at all. But if he's gotten his game down in this last, half or last, third of the season, I don't think you trade the guy. You have to see how he does. If he continues the way that he's been going and his numbers aren't looking really good, yeah, it's going to be a hard sell because some other GMs maybe they're not looking. Trust me, they're scouting if they're going to be looking at trading for a guy. They're not just going to look at the numbers. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe it is a little bit more difficult to unload him if things stay on the same path. But you just never know. I mean, you're talking about the end of the season. Maybe he plays great and the Sharks don't make the playoffs and they're still looking to trade him. Well, maybe a team that's in need, sure. But you just have to see how it pans out still. So you can't really make that determination only halfway through the season because you don't know how he's going to play. So.
Going back to Noah again, Jones is playing okay, I agree, but I don't agree that he should be playing this way with the contract we have him on. If we have Aaron Dell, who is cheaper and can play better, what's the point? Doesn't matter. You're spending the same amount of money on goaltending, whether it's one player playing or the other. Right now, they have to play the hot hand. Whoever can get the points in the standings is going to be playing. That's what I feel like. If Aaron Dell gets a loss, I wouldn't be surprised if they switch it up and go to Martin Jones right away, and vice versa. As soon as one of those goalies loses, they go back to the other one.
Yeah, see, when it comes to contracts, it's not like you can say, well, you're not playing very well, so we're going to pay you less now. It's not like, your job, basically, right? Like or my job or anybody else's job. Like if you're not performing to that level, they don't give you a pay raise that year or whatever, right? It doesn't work like that, obviously, and you know that. But, I mean, a lot of people kind of going back to with Erik Karlsson, the $11.5 million and blah, blah, blah. Look, you already gave this guy a contract for that amount. That's how much he's going to get paid, period. So it doesn't matter how he plays with that guy's yours. That's your contract that you have to pay. So the only way out of that, obviously, trade or do a buyout or whatever the case may be. I'm against the whole buyout thing. I think Aaron and I have talked a little bit about that, and I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but I'm not a huge fan of doing that, but it is what it is.
No, his contract sticks around for a lot longer on the salary cap.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets messy.
I'd rather not. So, then in that case, you would have to move him. It's not like you can't look at the amount that you're paying a guy and say, well, is he or is he not worth that necessarily? At that time, you wanted that guy. That's how much he was worth. You have him on your team now. So there's nothing really you can do about that. And the same thing with Erik Karlsson. You have that $11.5 million that you spent on him. I mean, people say, well, he's not worth that. Look at this player. He's only making this amount and he's better. That doesn't compute like that, though, because it's not like you're going out and buying bananas and you could have gone here instead of going there. That's the player you want. That's how much he's worth. If you want him, that's how much you have to pay, period. And I guarantee you, when the other guy is up for contract, if he actually is better than Erik Karlsson or anybody else, unless he's taking a team-friendly deal because he's already played there, you're probably going to end up having to pay that guy about the same amount because that's kind of the new bar now, right? So, you can't really look at it and just say, well, we're paying this guy this much and he should be performing better. This is how they perform, and the money's already gone, so there's really nothing you can do about it. Go ahead.
All right, Deuce's Shoeless. Rangers are officially listening to offers for Georgiev.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Should we be trying to get him? Looks like they want a depth forward. Okay, I thought about this a lot because he's probably one of the main goalies I think it's being thrown out there as a trade because New York Rangers now have a three-headed monster. We've even talked about this offline. I thought about it more, and I go, you know what? Martin Jones was that player. Martin Jones was a backup, came in LA, was ready to go, ready to be a starter. Sharks got him. He was great. And then just, he's been getting worse every year. Georgiev is the same exact player. He's been a backup to Lundqvist. He played 10 games for his rookie year. Last year was 33 games. This year he's played 20 games. His goals against average in order, 3.15, 2.91, 3.17. Currently, it's 3.17.
Yeah.
Save percentage, .918, 914, 909. Getting worse. My point is it's the same thing. You're going after an unproven player as a goalie, and he's the savior of your team.
Right.
It's not going to be like, oh, my gosh, we're going to win a cup now because we have Jordan Binnington.
Right.
That type of thing. That's just not going to happen. So I think people are kind of going, we need a goalie. We need a goalie. We need a goalie. Like, who can we get? Georgiev, he's on the market. He's great. We've seen him play against the Sharks, and he beat us. Let's go get him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So he's the next shiny object.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall was it a month ago, right?
Yeah.
2 months ago, before he got traded to Arizona, and now Georgiev is the shiny toy that everyone wants.
No, it's good. The only question I have then is, what are Henrik Lundqvist's numbers like this season? Are they comparable?
Oh, he's terrible.
Okay, so then it's not, to me, again, let's go back to what I've been saying this entire time about goalie stats. Is it more indicative of the Rangers? But is it more indicative of the Rangers being a bad team? Bad defensively?
They're better this year than they were last year, but they're still bad.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at, though. If both goaltenders have bad numbers, doesn't that kind of point towards the defense being not so hot?
He's 3.18 goals against average and 907 right now.
So is he pretty comparable to Georgiev then?
3.1.
There you go.
3.17 versus 3.18.
That's kind of my point, is that you can't really just look at the numbers and say if this guy is good or bad or whatever else. You really just have to take a look at the style of play. And if he's only getting beat on these pucks that are going cross crease, or you have to stretch from one post to the other, it saves that Aaron Dell was making the other day, which, by the way, again, don't expect that to happen every night because it's probably not going to happen every night, but it's great when he does make those saves, and he did a phenomenal job. But back to Georgiev, or however you say his name, if those are the types of goals that he's getting beat on, then, yeah, sure, he's probably a pretty decent goalie if you can prevent those types of plays, right? So, but I think with any goaltender, if you're protecting yourself or your goalie from those types of plays, I think you have a lot less to worry about in terms of winning or losing the game, right? So, again, to me, it kind of goes back to that Team D. Now, would I mind having this guy? Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea necessarily, but again, even if you went that route, you're going to end up with 3 goaltenders this season in Jones, Dell, and Georgiev, unless you unload one of them, right? And so if you unload Dell, you're not going to unload Dell now. He's playing great.
But you can't trade a goalie to the Rangers because they don't need a goalie.
That's true.
So you're stuck.
Yeah.
You'd be in their situation.
You'd need to have
be getting the third goalie.
You need to have a 3-way trade or something. Now, do we have forward prospects that maybe they would like? Okay, maybe. Maybe they would like one.
It's Georgiev.
Georgiev?
Yeah.
Okay. What did I say? Georgiev?
I said Georgiev or
Okay.
Georgiev.
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 Regardless, I mean, I think you're right. It's the same situation as what we had with a Martin Jones, and I know a lot of people. When we talked about this last show, a lot of people would like to see Doug Wilson draft a goalie.
Do something.
No.
That's
Draft a goalie that they can bring up through the system. Now, I think we've got a handful of goalies that show some promise, that are pretty good in their own rights, and it's going to take them time, but they could come up through the system.
We don't have a superstar in the wings. We don't have like a blue chip prospect in the wings.
Yeah.
We have hopefuls that might make an NHL starter, maybe a backup. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? Like it's not like we drafted a Carey Price type where they need a year or two and then they're going to be the future.
Right.
We have nobody that's like that.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right. No, I think the guys that they drafted, they're kind of top of their class. But yeah, they're going to take a while to get ready to go. So again, hopefully, my hope really is that the training with Nabokov pays off for both goaltenders. And right now, it seems to be paying off with Dell. And I have to tell you, a lot of the practices that I've gone to, every practice that I've gone to, Nabokov is working with Jones after practice. Jones is, he does a lot of post-to-post work, a lot of positioning and angle work with Evgeny Nabokov. And I think that the more time he gets doing that, while Aaron Dell is getting the starts, the more opportunity he's going to get to kind of hone in on those angles and get his skills right. When he gets that call, hopefully it pays off. We'll see, because one way or another, like somebody had commented earlier, he's getting paid $5+ million. You can't have your backup making that much money. It's just not sustainable. So if Aaron Dell does supersede him and we do re-sign him next season, or we go with somebody else next season, and you still have Jones on the books, yeah, you're going to have to try to unload him. But again, what team's going to take that, right? So it's a tough call. It's a tough way to go here right now.
There's a great comment here from Deuces saying Nabby is great, but he's no miracle worker.
Okay, that's fair.
Fair.
Well, you know what though? I don't know if I 100% agree with that.
He's not a miracle worker.
Well, look at Aaron Dell right now.
That's not a miracle worker. He's
some
not
of those
getting
saves,
shutout after shutout.
Some of those saves are miraculous. Whether you get a shutout or whether you let 2 goals in or 1 goal in.
I'm just saying, it's not like night and day where it's all of a sudden, wow, a goalie switched at the goaltending level.
I don't know
what needed.
I take a look at Dell before and Dell after, and
a
lot of that has to do
miracle working.
A lot of that has to do with team defense, but the times where we had defensive breakdowns and they had those crazy cross creasers, Dell is flying from post to post, and he's making big saves. And I didn't really see that when he wasn't under Nabokov. And to do that in just a few weeks' time under a new goaltending coach, that's pretty miraculous. It takes a long time to have an effect. If he's doing it in a few weeks, even if he's had kind of a background with him, to me that's pretty miraculous.
Switching subjects.
Yeah.
Sanchez 32. Who needs to step up the most since no couture? And Mad Cow followed up with Meyer and LeBanc. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Those two guys.
Let's just say Meyer and LeBanc just need to step up, period.
Right.
Even when Couture's back, they need to be playing at a higher level than they are.
Without Couture, that means that's your number 1 center.
Yeah.
I think Hurdle needs to step up. I think earlier he was hurt. He was playing through something, probably about a month ago, because he was not himself. I think he's coming around and he's feeling a lot better. He's going to the All-Star game, which is fantastic. Bravo for him for making the All-Star team. I think that's well-deserved. I don't think there's anyone else that should have taken Couture's spot.
Yeah. Maybe from a different team.
Maybe Kane.
Yeah.
I would say between those two. And I bet Kane didn't, because he's kind of got a reputation for being a bruiser more than his scoring.
John Scott made it.
That was a vote in, though.
Yeah,
that was a fan vote. It's different. But yeah, anyway, I think Hurdle needs to step up, and then I think Joe Thornton's going to have to step up, and I think he has. He's looked a lot different to me. He's looked more aggressive to me. He's taking more shots, which his entire career, everyone's yelling at him to shoot more, right? Now it's like he's on the power play. He's taking some shots, and he has a decent shot still, even at 40.
I can't remember the stats. I think it was 2 goals and 5 assists in like 7 or 8 games. You guys check me on that. Yeah, no, he's playing
I'm not
really
saying
well.
he needs to step up because he's not, but I think
he's stepping up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Hurdle in the same right. Does he in terms of needing to step up? I think Hurdle kind of is stepping up. But in terms of need to step up, absolutely 100%. LeBanc, Meyer, correct answer, get a gold star.
I think even Burns a little bit.
Yes, Burns
He's
too.
been kind of off the score sheet, not his normal self.
Recently he got on it, but yes, that went off his skate.
Yeah.
He was in the right spot though, so bravo. But it needs to be doing a lot more from the blue line. Erik Karlsson's not one of the guys I think needs to step up anymore. He's getting point after point after point. Defensively, he could be better. Sure, everybody could be better defensively, but for what you've got him out there for, is offense, and I think he's putting up. He's close to a point per game, isn't he?
Who, Burns?
Karlsson.
He's got it.
I think he's pretty close.
I didn't pull it up.
That's one of the guys that I think he's done a pretty good job in terms of generating chances. Sometimes the puck goes in, sometimes it doesn't, but I think he's doing a pretty good job of generating chances. He's just so slick with the puck. His passing ability is unreal, and his ability to keep the puck away and protect it is unreal. So
he's at 34 points in 46 games.
Oh, okay, not quite there, but pretty good pace, I would say.
Yeah,
pretty happy with him. So yeah, for me on the blue line, it's got to be Brent Burns stepping up offensively. Defensively, I think the whole team needs to step up. And then, yeah, like you said, Meyer and LeBanc.
Yep. Toronto's also in need of a backup. They could be a third partner in a trade. Interesting. They're in cap.
But they would just go after Georgiev themselves. I think I saw some sort of like...
I think they want Anderson as their number one. They wouldn't want Georgiev. Georgiev wants to be a number one. I think,
okay. He thinks he's ready to start. Yeah. Okay. All
right. Kyle Hipwell, who I swear is Timo Meyer's mom.
Yeah.
Or dad.
It's okay. Address him. There you go.
He's just dominating the comments about everything.
Okay, Kyle. Let's see. What's he want to say?
You want me to just go through them all?
Yeah, fire away. Let's go.
All right. Nonstop.
Okay.
Marlon Thornton don't need to play more than Timo. Give the young guys some runway. LeBanc certainly isn't money in the bank. It just jumped. Couture needs more time. Okay, stats again. Well, Couture's hurt, so he's out.
Yeah. He needs more time to come back, I think.
Yeah. Meyer has 26 points in the past 34 games, 4 in the first 15. No one mentioning he's on a 63-point pace past the 2.5 months. He's been hot and cold, but 26 and 36 is closer to his pace from last season, just pulled down by the overall slow start. Can we talk about Timo? It just seems like a lot. Jumbo, Couture, Hurdle. 2 episodes in a row, I talked about this point pace since the slow start hasn't been addressed. I'm addressing it now.
The great thing is, this being the show that we host, we don't have to necessarily address anything, but we're going to.
Meyer over LeBanc. Yeah. I am not Timo's mom. Meyer over LeBanc for sure. Like Timo was a first-round pick. LeBanc was a sixth-round pick. So he should be better.
That's kind of the point, though, right? Is that Meyer is he's a higher pedigree player, or he should be. This is a guy that should be getting in those grindy areas using his body. Now, I know you're bringing up all the stats, but and you're talking about him being on a point pace equal to last season. We're looking for him to be on a point pace greater than last season.
Yeah.
Now, if you take away that first part where everybody sucked, I get what you're saying, right? And to me, that's kind of the more important thing is, okay, we dug ourselves this hole. This is where we're at now, and that's where Timo's at. He's kind of in that stretch where we're looking at right now, and he's on that pace, which is great. He needs to be above that pace,
to me,
unfortunately.
His effort level is not there every night.
Okay.
In order to be that superstar, we've talked about this before, he's a star in the league. There's no question about it, and he's going to be. But to be that next level and be that all-star is consistency. You need to bring your game, your A game, every single night, which is not easy to do, which is why there's not a lot of all-star players in the league.
Right.
So that's where I'm not like saying he's a terrible player. No, by no means no. I'm more of his potential. He needs to play up more to his potential now, especially with Couture out for a while. He needs to take the lead in scoring on the team.
So real quick, and I'll equate it to my son when he's we did like races today in roller with my son and some of the other kids. My son was like the second or third fastest kid on the team, and I look at his stride, and he's got a really good stride, really good mechanics, but his cadence, he's not pushing his legs as hard as he can, as fast as he can, right? He's pushing hard, but he's not going as quickly as he could. So to me, I'm like, dude, you're fast. You could be a whole heck of a lot faster if you were moving your legs faster, right? For Timo, it's kind of the same thing. Dude, you're a good player. You're a solid player, and I like what you're doing. But you could be so much more than this. And that's my problem with him is that, yes, he could be even better. When we're asking for not just being on the same pace, we're asking for being on a greater pace than last season. That's doable for him. we're just not seeing it.
Yeah, not just could be better, he needs to be better.
And that's the other thing.
Otherwise, the team's just going to go down with him.
The other thing is, yes, he does need to be better. Why? Because he is that pedigree of player, and he's up on that top 6, and we don't have Pavelski. We don't have Nyquist. We don't have Donskoy. These are guys that were getting in his way in terms of playing time, and now there's nobody there in terms of getting in his way for minutes. So he has all the opportunity in the world to step in there, play really big minutes, and get collect points. And yes, the pace that he's on, it's for the same pace that he was on last season, but he could be so much more than this. And he has the opportunity right in front of him because there's not that many guys on this team, wingers, that should be better than him. So that's what we're talking about. We're not saying Meyer sucks. He's good, but he's not anywhere near what his potential is. We know he could be so much more than this. And in a season where the Sharks have lost so much winger depth and they're in the dumps right now in terms of the standings, he needs to step up. He needs to be better than the good that he is. He needs to be great. And I don't think it's asking too much to do that because he has it in him. We just have to see it. And on a nightly basis, I just don't see it every night. And I'd love to because he's a great player and he can hurt teams bad. He can hurt them bad. Again, that net front presence, the physical play, his shot is wicked. He's actually pretty fast too. I mean, there's a lot of things that go really well with him. It's just sometimes we're not seeing all the effort that could make him that top level player that we know he can be. So, but thank you for your questions, Kyle. We realize now you're not Timo's mom. Thank you for clarifying that. We do appreciate the passion for the player, and hopefully us addressing that has helped in some way for you. So find peace with it.
All right, Noah Claxton. Say the Sharks miss the playoffs and you guys are the GM. What moves are you making? What would you let walk and who would you bring in or resign?
Watch last episode.
Our last episode we actually did cover that.
We can run through if you want.
No, I was just going to say I'd rather cover that maybe later.
Okay. If it actually happens?
If it actually happens and the Sharks are out of playoffs, we're going to need stuff to talk about. So that's what we'll do.
There you go.
That? That's a terrible cop-out.
I'll give him what we said in the last episode. And as a loyal Fin Factor fan, you already know this because you watched the episode anyway. But for other people who may be kind of watching this after the fact, we said LeBanc. You said
I said LeBanc and it's right here. LeBanc and Dell.
It's still on the board.
Right, it is still on the board.
Okay.
LeBanc and Dell are my two.
Yeah.
That would possibly get traded. This is a trade deadline talk.
Yeah, trade deadline.
Not off-season, but trade deadline. For off-season, I said Brent Burns, which I got a lot of flack for.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people in here are talking Brent Burns too.
First of all, no, you didn't. I had to bring that up during the episode because you were too chicken.
No, I talked about it in the live.
Oh, in the live. Okay. I was talking about the episode, but whatever.
Aaron got burned last week.
Whatever. It happens.
We lost some subs too.
What's that?
So many.
Who
so
else?
many subs.
Who else would I trade?
No. Your guys.
My guys?
Yeah.
Oh, this is, again, for trade deadline, it was Melker Karlsson and Brendan Dillon. Brendan Dillon's the first guy that goes for me because, I mean, again, friendly contract in terms of the cap hit. The style of play lends itself very well to a team looking to go deep in the playoffs. Very defensively minded, big body, hits, responsible pretty much around his own zone. I think Brendan Dillon would be the first guy to go, and for good reasons, not because, trade a player because he sucks. First of all, if he sucks, no one's going to want him. So I think Brendan Dillon is the type of guy that is the first one out the door.
Yeah.
And he deserved it. He would deserve
marquee rental player.
Exactly.
It's like just a stereotypical.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you know what? I think he would bring a pretty good haul, probably a lot more than he's worth.
Just like when we traded
Murray.
Douglas Murray, we got 2 second-round picks from
2 seconds
Pittsburgh.
for Doug Murray.
Yeah, that's crazy because he didn't last much longer after that.
No, he didn't.
Rhino, do you think Marlowe will play another year to pass Howe for the most games played in history? Yes. I think he can, and I think he will.
I think he plays 2 more.
2 more after this?
No. Yeah, 2. I think he plays 2 more seasons.
I could see 1 more and then reassessing after.
I think he does I feel like he does a 1-1. Just based off the way he's playing this season, I feel like he's got enough in the tank for 2 more.
Definitely.
Jumbo, I know everybody's saying this is last season. I think he's gonna want to do 1 more.
I think Jumbo's done.
Really?
I think he's done.
I think you and everybody else think he's done. I think he doesn't think he's done.
I think he thinks he's done.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think this is it.
He said 10 more seasons.
Sure.
You didn't hear him say that?
Okay.
Pay attention.
He wants to play.
Pay
10 more
attention.
I don't think he physically can. I think his body's breaking down. I don't think he can do it. Okay. I'm catching up here
Numma
now. Sorry.
numma num. This is the quality content you've tuned in for.
Sorry, I fell behind and there's a bunch of chatter here.
Really?
Did we just
on,
go
man.
to technical difficulties?
Oh my god,
screen,
yeah. I'll just like dance for him or something. Actually, yeah, while he's looking, check this out. So the Open Waters Cup, do you want me to leave it here? Do you zoom, or where do you want me to put this? Over here? Okay, good. So the Open Waters Cup, ooh, there you go. Tilting, there we go. So you can get that one at the concession stands, I believe now. Really cool cups. Again, really like sturdy and whatnot. They don't flex really easy like those the other ones that are kind of white. They're just generic like shark cups. These ones are nice and tough.
You mean it won't shatter on our set?
They will not shatter on the set when super producer Jason drops them along with the baubles.
Aaron's been dropping them the most.
Oh, Aaron has? Okay, there you go. So there's that. And
What'd
then
I do?
do we have the other thing?
Behind you. Turn around.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I didn't realize there. So, yeah, the Open Waters, the Jersey. So, if you went to the game, the Dallas game with Pavelski and whatnot, there were three kind of big, get my head out of the way. There were three kind of big things going on in that game. One was the Open Waters Jersey. The other was obviously the return of Joe Pavelski. And then the third thing was Patrick Marleau, his 1700th game.
Yep.
He was fifth player to reach 1,700 games. Congratulations. And he's the only player to score a goal in his 1,700th game, which is pretty awesome.
That might not be done ever again.
Probably not, yeah. And then here's the Open Waters hat. Now, you're wondering, wait, where do you get that hat? And we got it for the show to show off our good friends at the Shark Tank there. So pretty cool stuff. So this game is coming up soon. I'm not sure exactly what date it is
Show the
or
bill.
what game it is. What's that?
Under the bill.
Oh, I'm sorry. Check this out. Booyah.
Oh,
Isn't that
snap.
sweet?
What is
Santa
that?
Cruz?
I don't know what that
Santa
is.
Cruz?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Looks like the
It's tight though.
roller coaster.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a really cool hat. It's got the little thing on the back here, so you can adjust it that way
It's
if
the
you like
dad
that.
hat.
And then yeah, the bill is just something really unique and just really cool. So yeah, it was really nice of them to kind of give us a hat to show you guys, so we can kind of preview it and make you kind of salivate for it and go to that game.
Question from Jake: is the Open Water Jersey a home or away sweater? They don't really. The Sharks don't wear these. These are just for the fans.
They do. They had a warm up jersey
Right,
that they used,
okay.
but yeah.
That's about it.
What the? Okay, so anyway, yeah, it's not like a home or away thing. They only wear it during the warm up, so I guess you could say it's a home jersey because you'll never see them wear one of their giveaway jerseys on the road, even during warm ups. So yeah, I guess it's considered a home jersey, I suppose. They auction them off or something too, right?
The signed ones?
Yeah, I think
so.
when they wear them, when they do the warm-ups, and then they auction them off, probably for the Sharks Foundation or something.
Lundy just gave us $1.99. Thanks, bud.
Oh, thank you.
Does Thornton do what Williams did next season? Williams sat out half of the year and then came back.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I think the Sharks would need him kind of like they needed Marleau. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to say, okay, we need a plan for the season. We can't just, you can't just join us back when you want. We need to know. So I'm going to say no. He does not do that.
I would feel like it's a no as well. I think for a couple reasons. One, it's just weird. It's a unique situation, and that that might be kind of unique to Justin Williams and the Carolina Hurricanes. And then two, I just don't think Joe can stay away from the rink. I just don't think he can do it.
Yeah.
He loves it too much. If he plays, it's going to be from game one. I don't think he does it halfway through the season. The passion for the game, it's too much for him to sit out for that long and then be like, okay, fine, I'll sign now. I just don't see that happening with Jumbo.
Karina said Thornton is so much a great influence to the new guys, and he means so much to San Jose. It'll be tough when he retires.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
I mean, he's a legend. He's a living legend.
Yeah.
Him and Marleau both. I feel like they're going to be in the Hall of Fame for sure. Thornton for sure. Marleau, I think, almost for sure.
Okay.
I don't see why not, considering his points totals, his games totals, his just consistency, what he's done in the playoffs, even though he hasn't won a cup. It's amazing if you look at over his career. So
yeah, I don't think it's fair to judge someone based on whether or not they've won a cup, because it's not like it's tennis where it's just you You know, there's a whole team around you. There's a lot that goes. You can't win a Stanley Cup by yourself. It's your entire team around you that that determines whether or not you're going to have your name written on that trophy. So, yeah, I don't think it's fair necessarily to judge somebody based on whether or not they've won a cup. You look at their accomplishments, and yes, a lot of those accomplishments have to do with the players that you have around you as well. But I think, you know, for a guy that's played 1,700 games and only 4 other players have reached that plateau, I mean, that to me is just, it's incredible. And again, the point totals and whatnot. I just think that, you know, winning a cup is you know, a personal accomplishment, and it's great and everything, but it shouldn't stop somebody from being considered for Hall of Fame recognition. That's me.
Nice. All right, let's do roll call.
Cool.
Tell us where you're watching and how you found us, and we'll take a few more questions here.
Sweet.
American, I don't want to say his name.
Dad.
Yeah, American Dad. I won the cup by myself in GM mode. That's
sure.
Awesome. He also said earlier, speaking of Marleau milestones, I was in Vancouver when he scored the goal 400 and was sitting right in the corner on the side he scored on. It was a great weekend.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. So I know you guys have been saying it on almost every live. This is from Noah. Paul needs to replace Boogie on this team and will make playoffs guaranteed.
No, come on, guys.
Sign Paul.
Not a chance. There's no way.
Paul Martin? Yes.
Yeah, maybe Paul Martin.
That was the follow-up. Yeah, anyway. What else you want to talk about while they're doing roll call here?
I don't know. Games ahead. What do we got going on with the games ahead? I know we've got 3 this week, right?
We got 3.
Yeah.
I got to pull it up because I can't remember.
It's Arizona.
It's Tuesday, Thursday,
I know
Saturday. They're
Arizona,
all on the road.
Colorado, and Vancouver, I think, right?
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
In that order.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So,
Thursday.
hey, this is a tough week, guys. You know, I think Brody or Curtis had said, you know, a year or 2 ago, we would have looked at these teams, maybe 2, 3 years or whatever it was, we would have looked at these teams and go, win, 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 right? Now it's not necessarily the case whatsoever.
Especially Colorado, man.
Yeah, big time. Now, the nice thing is, okay, so 2 of those teams are Pacific Division, right? And they're all Western Conference, though.
It's big points.
Yeah, big points. The one that you just called out was Colorado, so that's not one of the divisional opponents. So if you feel that is the biggest test, then we have the biggest opportunity to gain divisional points against the other 2.
Colorado, 55 points.
Yep.
Arizona, 55 points. Vancouver, 54 points. They're all practically the same.
Yeah. How many points do we have now?
We are at 46.
Okay. Are they at the top of the division?
Like Curtis Pichelka, I think he just tweeted this out. Had the Sharks beat Ottawa and Detroit, 4 more points.
Yeah.
They're now only a few points
and
out.
my response to that was, okay, how about the teams that we beat that we were much worse than? Should we give those points back then?
I'm
agreeing.
I'm agreeing.
Sometimes bad teams beat good teams. It's called parity. It's one of the reasons I love the NHL. It's that there's the teams are so tight in terms of skill level and talent that sometimes Detroit's going to win a game even though they're the worst team in the league. They're the worst team in the league, but they still have a handful of wins. Which teams did they beat? Obviously, we're one of them. But you know, you can't just say, "Oh, they're horrible, so they're going to lose." That's not how it works. So sometimes you're going to beat the worst team and you're going to win. San Jose Sharks. Sometimes we're at the very bottom of the league and we still won, right? There are times when you're going to beat a team that you shouldn't beat.
Yep.
So, yeah, hey, it'd be great to win those games. But then at the same time, you can say, well, what if we lost to the teams that we shouldn't have beaten? Well, of course, nobody's going to say that. But, you know, we don't give those points back. So, I don't know. That's all well and good. You can look in the past and go, oh, we should have beat those teams. But there's a lot of teams that we shouldn't have beaten.
Oh, totally.
And I'm happy with the points that we were able to gather from them. So there's a little bit of give and take. Sometimes you're gonna win games that you shouldn't win and lose games you shouldn't lose, is what it is.
Yep.
We're just staring. Dead silence. Pin drop. Anything else? We good?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else we should talk about. Anything else?
No other comments? My goodness.
They're talking about EA SHL right now.
Really?
Yeah, just chatting away. And then where people are doing roll call still.
Technical difficulties again?
Here's an interesting question. I'll take this one
in there.
From Mr. Sandpaper.
Okay.
Is Couture tradable?
Is he tradable? Are we talking... Oh, man. Is he tradable? Like, does he have a no-movement clause? Is that the question? Or is the
Would
question.
you trade him? How about that?
Okay, is he tradable? Able to be traded?
Would you trade Logan Couture?
Would I trade Logan? Well, no. Why?
That's
Why would I?
That's more of the question. He has a no trade clause.
Okay.
3 teams.
So is he tradable? Yes, to those 3 teams, technically.
Everybody technically is tradable.
Sure.
Just throwing it out there.
No. If he has a no move clause and he just shuts it down, that's it. Then he's not tradable.
Right, but then that just sours the relationship, and that doesn't usually happen. However, I think they tried to trade Marlowe a couple years ago, didn't they? And he said no. I think I remember hearing that.
Okay, so if we're going to rephrase the question to would you trade Logan Couture, my question would be why? Why would we trade the guy that we just
If you're
made
going to
our
blow up the
captain?
team.
I'd still build around him. He's not that
Really?
old. He's not that old.
Not that young.
If he's your number 1 center,
He's a beast in the playoffs. Beast.
he's done it. Okay, could you get a good return for him? If that's what you're getting at, yeah, you could get a good return for him. There's a lot of guys on this team you can get a good return for. The thing is, you have them for longer. You have them for longer term. There's really no reason for you to have to unload them. You got a really good player. I would hang on to him if he's got many years on his contracts.
He's 30.
Yeah, that's
okay.
It's a little long on the. He's not. I mean, gonna retire anytime soon though. Like that's my point. You can sign him for another handful of years. So
People, $8 million for 6 years after this. Yikes! That salary cap's going to jump in 2 more years or a year. I can't remember. I think
so Seattle and then the new TV deal too, right?
Right. So I think after that it's gonna jump up a lot more. So those $8 million deals are gonna be like how a $6 million deal feels right now, or a $5 million. Like you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Brar 232, thanks for the $2. How do you guys see the Sharks over the next 5 years?
Ooh, over the next 5 years?
That's tough.
It's going to be a very different team. If you look at the Sharks 5 years ago, there's quite a bit of turnover, I would say.
The next 5 years.
Yeah.
You can...
No, I know. But that's what I mean. It's, new draft picks that come in, new prospects that got developed, new guys from Sweden that get signed right out of the like Donskoy, for instance, was a guy who was in the European League, got brought on over, and he just played, right. So you just never know what the teams are going to look like.
I mean, assuming nobody's traded right now in 5 years, Couture, Kane, Carlson, Burns, Vlasic, and Jones will just become a free agent.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So in 5 years, a couple of those guys are going to be pretty old. Vlasic
Burns will be on the
Burns.
very end of his. That's the last year of his contract.
Yeah, Vlasic.
Same
too.
with Kane, and Burns will be 39 years old.
Yeah.
On the last year of his contract.
Yeah. So I think when those contracts expire, that'll probably be the end of it for them, at least with the Sharks, unless they're still very productive, or in Vlasic's case, still very stout defensively.
Well, Vlasic is still there another year.
Yeah, that's true. But a guy like Carlson, I'd be happy to have him for that at that 5 year mark. Still happy to have that guy. Tell you what, Pavelski is probably going to be retired at that point.
Yeah, it's hard to say in 5 years because there's so many moving parts.
Yeah,
players could get hurt. I mean, someone could have to retire.
Yeah,
long-term injury type
stuff.
Well,
and the other thing is, if you say, okay. If you were to say with the Edmonton Oilers, where would they be 5 years from now when you said that a handful of years ago? Okay, you could say, oh, well, they're going to keep getting their draft picks, right, because they still suck. Then they're going to be, basically riding those draft picks and their number 1 overalls and trying to be that better team, and hopefully they make a couple moves and they become a powerhouse. That would be the answer to that question, but that's not actually how it went anyway. It took them a really long time, even with all the first overall picks. With the Sharks, it's difficult because we don't really see the Sharks rebuild ever. We see them retooling, and if Doug Wilson's the GM still in 5 years, you're probably going to see more of like the same, where we've been trading picks or prospects and getting ready now players. So if that's the case, you probably see more of the same. Not necessarily this season with the Sharks and how they kind of start off poorly and they haven't been playing too great, but just a perennial contender in the league, just constantly good, playoff built, a team that makes the playoffs and does fairly well, even if they get bounced out in the first or second round. They're one of those teams that's a tough team and always looked at by the analysts as one of those teams that to look out for. I think in 5 years, again, if Doug Wilson's still the GM and we haven't gone through a rebuild for the first time in his tenure, then I imagine to be more of kind of the same. So,
yeah, maybe if they go a full-blown rebuild,
yeah,
maybe they get a different GM at that point, just to have a different. I don't know.
Actually, yeah, if they decide to blow up the team, I wouldn't be surprised if they replaced Doug Wilson, because that's not something he's ever done, and he probably wouldn't agree with it, and then therefore switch it up.
No offense to him, he's gonna be a lot older in 5 years.
Who, Doug?
And then to start all over, I mean, like.
Oh, I'm just saying. Oh, yeah. I'm saying.
Like that's a lot.
Let's say after this season they decide to blow it up. Where would they look in 5 years? So it's hard to tell really, because it depends who's kind of at the helm and what their philosophy is. So. Yeah.
I still think Burns should get moved over the summer, this summer.
Really?
To just free up that back and give it to Carlson.
Okay.
It's Carlson's defense now, kind of thing.
Okay.
And then you get a lot of cap space. You probably get a really good return on Burns.
You would get a great return.
Better than waiting until he's 37, 38, breaking down.
And I will say this, with the emergence of Shimmick and Ferraro, I think our top 4 would look really good. Assuming that Dylan gets unloaded at some point, either traded away or if he doesn't.
Jeremy Roy is upcoming. Another defenseman that's in the wings.
But with Dylan, if Dylan gets unloaded or if Dylan doesn't sign with us in free agency because he can get a bigger payday somewhere else, I'm sure. Ferraro and Shimmick as our 3rd and 4th defensemen with Vlasic and Carlson as our 1-2. I'd be pretty happy with that. And then you fill out your 5-6 with either, Prout is the name that got thrown around, but a guy kind of like that who's, good defensively in his own zone, not a guy that you're going to give a ton of minutes, but someone who you can rely on to push guys out of the net, and then just anybody else, like a Tim Heed even. I can definitely see that defensive lineup being pretty potent for a good number of years, and, brought about by unloading a guy like Burns, freeing up cap space, being able to bring in winger depth, which is one of the things we desperately need. And again, we talked about this a little bit. Him and Carlson, it is a bit of redundancy on a team that has other needs. So again, I could see it happening. I don't want it to happen necessarily, but I could see it happening, and it probably would actually help the Sharks.
Burns for life. No, Aaron hates Burns. Burns
doesn't hate Burns.
I don't hate Burns. I love Burns.
Yeah.
Burns to Seattle or Dallas. Burns did have 2 points in his last game.
Yeah, no, we're not saying Burns is bad. We're just saying there's a redundancy. You have 2 really supremely offensively talented guys on the blue line, and you have needs other places. So it makes sense to move one of them, Burns being the one that makes more sense to move, to fulfill those needs in the other positions. I don't want him to go. I love the guy. I think he's great. I think his offensive prowess is off the charts. But
maybe they switch him over the summer to right wing. I don't know.
Maybe. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I really doubt it. But maybe.
All right.
So
anyway, I think we're going to cut it now.
All right.
So thank you for watching. Anything else you want to add in there?
That's it. Thank you for watching, and then you throw it to me?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll throw out our swag. How about that?
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and check out the Fin Factor story. He's about to put the link up there. The little 3 ticks in the top corner. Hit that. Support the show. That's what you're doing. We appreciate all the super chat money that you've given us today, as well as any of your contributions through the store. Pick up shirts. We have them in black, gray, teal. We have the black women's deep V cut. We have the awesome hats, which I wear mine pretty much every day. Love it. It's
right there.
Yeah, the stitching pops off of it. I'll just show you real quick. Got my wallet and everything in there. There you go. Boom. The stitching does pop off quite nicely on there, so it's a good high quality hat. We do like these. Actually, the shirts too are really super soft. We love those things. And then of course stickers. So for your laptop or your water bottle or your forehead, whatever you want to use them for. We would love for you guys to kind of help get our names out there. And again, it's about supporting the show that you guys like. So again, we appreciate you guys going there and visiting.
Hashtag Teal Together.
Hashtag Deal Together. There you go. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the pre-show here. We're gonna go ahead and go and shoot episode number 75. God, 75.
What's the schedule next week?
Good Lord.
We are going to be off next week.
Yes.
Both Paul and Jason are out of town, and I can't do this by myself. Sorry. Clearly, I cannot do this.
I can barely do it with you guys.
Oh, jeez. So we're gonna not have a show. We might have a little something come out.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a little something different come out next week. It'll be released on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, it'll be a short video with some good information for you guys on some things that are like shark related, but not like for the team necessarily. So I think you guys, tune in. You might enjoy it. So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul,
And I'm Aaron.
and we will see you guys.
Not next week.
Well, maybe next week, but definitely the week after.
See you on Tuesday for the episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.